let's hop in, take a quick drive, and I will talk you guys through what it is like to drive a Stage 2 S3. Hopping back into this car, I mean, every time I hop into this car, I remember how much I enjoy this car. And if you're a car person, you know, one of the most enjoyable things about having a car you love is just getting to drive it every day and getting to, you know, experience that joy. So the interior, and you can see I have our dog crate back there, which speaks to the practicality of this car, but I'll touch on that as well. So let's start it up. I'll crack the door actually. Just to touch on the exhaust setup right now, I am on the stock exhaust on this car. I have that high flow catted downpipe from Integrated Engineering, and I also have a vibrant resonator welded into where the stock resonator was. I previously had a resonator delete. It sounded great, don't get me wrong, it was just a little too loud, and it wasn't so much the loudness as it was the drone. So as you can hear, there's a little bit of low end burble there, but overall it's really tame. So that also isn't a cold start. To be honest, the cold start's not much different. But yeah, let's take a quick drive and I will just talk you guys through this thing. So we're gonna start in comfort. I think that's a good place to start with a tuned car, because people probably wonder, you know, what it's like to drive this thing as a daily driver and day-to-day driving. I personally don't drive the car in comfort basically at all. 99% of the time I'm in individual mode, and I'll talk about that in a second. But for people who do want a car that's like, you know, super fun when you want it to be, but can also be really tame and chill when you don't want it to be, comfort is a really good setting for that at Stage 2. And the reason is because the valves are closed on the exhaust. Having the stock exhaust, I still have the valve system, and the shift points are really smooth. The steering is really soft, so it just feels like a really nice, chill daily driver. And as you can probably hear, you still do hear the engine, and it sounds good. Oh, lost my wallet. But it's not too much. So that's basically all we're gonna do for comfort, because comfort is not the fun mode. I'm gonna hop over to individual. So I have the car set up for my individual settings, where basically the steering, the transmission, and the engine sound is all set to that dynamic mode, which is the fun mode, and then the suspension is set to comfort. So day-to-day driving, I can have a lot of fun. You know, I have my torque, I have the sound, but especially with these roads, I have a smoother ride. So this is my daily setting, and you know, anybody else who has an S3, I recommend you give this a try because it's really fun and enjoyable. But let's hop into sport, and I will just kind of start talking about what it's been like to drive a Stage 2 Audi S3. And according to Integrated Engineering's numbers, the car is sitting around 425 horsepower and 460 foot-pound torque on 91 octane. I run 91 just because it's a little cheaper, but we also don't have 93 readily available at all of our gas stations in town. So just in the event that I'm not able to find 93, you know, if I'm on the road or something, 91 is everywhere. I do usually get my gas from the same gas station, but you know, just in the off chance that I might be somewhere else and I can't get 93, 91 was the more convenient tune. Traffic around here is brutal these days. Okay, so ooh, you can hear that intake. Man, this thing is so much fun. It makes so many good noises. All right. Oh, you can hear that. You can hear that intake. Those turbo sounds are just like, they're amazing. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna do this in, actually I'll just do this in automatic mode so you guys can kind of see how the shift points engage. And I'm going to put my foot on the floor here, just as long as we're clear. There's no cars. Okay. There's just like readily available power at speed, and when compared to stock, it's like such a dramatic night and day difference. And it's just a lot of fun. Like, you don't need to worry about passing anybody at any point in time. You know, if you're in a sticky situation and you need to get out of the way, get ahead of somebody, you can just leave it. Well, you could leave it in sport and floor it, and it'll give you the same result. But I usually like to just drop a gear and step on it. But right there's torque. There's a lot of torque at 120 kilometers an hour, and you know, that's something that I did not expect to have in such a small engine. But yeah, it's been so much fun. So over the last 8 months of driving this car, I've had 0 complaints. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I think the only thing that I would really want to switch this car out for is an RS3. And unfortunately here in Canada, they stopped selling them due to some emissions issues with that 5-cylinder engine. So I think the last time they sold them new in Canada was either 2019 or 2020. But there is some pretty good information coming out that the RS3 will be returning to Canada for the 2025 model year, so that'll be next year. And my hope is that, when they come back, the price on the used market will drop, and I will be able to find an 8V at a reasonable price. So that's the goal. Stay tuned for that. I'll definitely keep you guys updated on the channel, but RS3 is definitely the dream. You know, I love this car, I love the chassis, but they're just too expensive right now, so wasn't in the cards, unfortunately. But all that being said, I have no complaints about this car. This car is an absolute beautiful piece of machinery. It's like at 420, even if we're only at 410, you know, horsepower, at a car this size and this weight, that's so much more than you need to have fun and not get yourself in trouble, obviously, because that's important as well. And I'm gonna, you know, that's basically all I wanted to talk about, guys. I will close this video out with a quick little pull onto the highway. We have a nice on-ramp coming up over here. And if you enjoy this content, if you enjoy point of view driving content, you know, feel free to hit that like, support the channel, follow along, and yeah, thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate the support. And we'll just wait for this light to change, and we will hit a highway pole.